I really enjoyed Sword Art Online's second progressive movie, Scherzo of Deep Night. The first part of this video won't have any spoilers, and will just have my overall thoughts on it and if I recommend it or not. The second part of the video will be a bit more in-depth and have spoilers. Timestamps will be below. With SAO's anime being over 10 years old, it felt really nostalgic to go back into the world of Aincrad again. The movie really captured the essence of what made me fall in love with SAO all those years ago. While Kirito is still the main character, we get to see a lot more of Asuna's point of view in this movie. Kirito and Asuna aren't together yet, so it's interesting seeing how they interact with each other. On top of that, there's also a lot of great action and additional character development for new characters and characters from the first season that didn't get as much attention before. The animation might not have been quite as good as the Ordinal Scale movie, but I still enjoyed this a lot. I don't mind CGI in anime, but I know a lot of people do, so just know there is a bit of CGI during some of the fight scenes. The music was great. There was a decent amount of familiar music, but my favorite song was during the final battle. If you're already at least a casual fan of Sword Art Online, then I think you'll enjoy this movie. If you didn't really like SAO too much and listen to everything Mother's Basement says, I don't think this movie is different enough to change your mind. Now let's get into spoilers. One of my favorite parts of this movie was seeing some of the power struggles between the top two clearing guilds. In the second episode of SAO, since it was so early in the game, it was too early for there to be a lot of established guilds. So Diabel assembled the best players into one group and then they cleared floor 1. But since he died after attempting to steal the last attack bonus item drop, his guild split into two. Kibao, who we previously saw as the guy that put a lot of blame on former beta testers, formed the Aincrad Liberation Squad, or ALS, and Lind formed the Dragon Knights Brigade, or DKB. It was cool to see what happened after Diabel died, since it was obvious that his charismatic personality was what kept the group together. We already knew that Kibao was corrupt from the first season, and we get to see some more of it in this movie. There was a New Year's party that was meant to bring the two clearing guilds together, but he saw that as an opportunity to take on the boss without DKB. While it is definitely possible to defeat the floor 5 boss without DKB's help, it really puts his guild at a higher risk of having casualties this way. In SAO, it was common practice to overlevel and bring way more people than necessary to a boss fight to give people a higher likelihood of surviving. So Kibao was willing to increase the probability of fatalities just to gain an edge over his rival guild. Even though Kirito and Asuna aren't a part of either of those two guilds, it was cool that they took matters into their own hands to prevent a war from breaking out between them. In this movie, Kirito and Asuna aren't together yet, but we still get to see some romantic moments between them. We see that they're already spending a lot of time together, rely on each other a lot, and are really protective of each other. Everyone but the two of them seems to be aware of them liking each other. Another thing I liked about this movie was seeing more of Asuna's potential. Unlike Kirito and Mito, she didn't grow up as a hardcore gamer. But despite that, in the short time she's been in SAO, she's gotten really good at the game. We see the first sign of this when she gets separated from Kirito while treasure hunting. After losing her rapier and seeing the PKers take it, she was pretty clever about getting it back by screaming, having them drop it, having an NPC pick it up, and then quickly killing the enemy NPC. It was crazy that if Kirito hadn't shown up in time, she might have just attacked the two guys. Since Asuna wasn't super strong just yet, I feel like it would have ended badly for her if she attacked them. But it's tough to say since they could barely carry her rapier, so maybe they were both at a way lower level than her. Asuna confiding in Kirito after the PKers left was also a nice moment. As someone who has read some of the light novels, I was happy to see Argo get some screen time. We previously saw her as less of a fighter and more of just an info broker, but here we get to see her unique abilities and how she survives as a solo player in a death game without raw power. We also get to see why she puts her life on the line just to get info. She might seem to come off as being greedy at first since she usually charges for her information, but she really does feel responsible as a former beta tester to help get info out to people trying to clear the game. Although Mito is an anime original character, I really liked her addition to the story. In the last movie, she was super confident in her ability to protect Asuna. She grew up playing games and was really good at SAO while Asuna was really scared, so she felt like she had to protect Asuna. When she failed to protect Asuna in the last movie and left her for dead to save herself, she developed PTSD and also felt really guilty. Characters like Kirito and Asuna are really heroic and likely would have sacrificed themselves if they were in her situation, so I like that Mito is different. As human beings, we naturally want to save ourselves as a means of self-preservation, so I felt like Mito acted in a way that more normal people would. Going back to Asuna's potential, we also got to see more of it when she dueled Mito to convince her to help them clear the boss on floor 5. I also enjoyed Mito's interaction with Kirito. I laughed out loud when she straight up told Kirito she didn't like him. I sort of felt like she was a bit jealous that he was spending a lot of time with Asuna, and also was maybe being a bit protective since he's a guy. Kirito doesn't get much development in this movie, but we do get to see more of the players calling him a beater and how it still does hurt his feelings to be called that. Just like how Asuna confided in Kirito after getting her rapier back, she seemed to try and console him after he got insulted by all the players he just saved from a guild war. The final boss was pretty cool. One of my favorite things about SAO are the sword animations, and this movie didn't disappoint. The animation on the boss itself was also really nice despite it having a lot of CGI, and the music was also really good. But it was hard to feel too scared when Asuna got captured by the boss since we all know that she survives. I also wasn't wasn't surprised to see Mito join the fight, but it was still cool to see her in action since her weapon is pretty unique. One of the coolest parts was close to the end when Pooh snuck up on Kirito and Asuna. I figured that Asuna was going to be assaulted since Mito gave her an accessory that prevents paralysis and poison, and we've seen Laughing Coffin use that method in season 1. But I wasn't sure who from Laughing Coffin we'd see, so it was cool to see the leader himself. The whole idea of Laughing Coffin in SAO is fascinating to me. I've played thousands of hours of World of Warcraft, so I know there are people out there that would love to destroy people in a virtual MMO, but it's crazy that people would still do it knowing that it would kill them in real life too. I really enjoyed Scherzo of Deep Night. It had just the right mix of everything I like in SAO, and now I can't wait for the next progressive movie. Thanks for watching.